started. Welcome to another Sunday Superversive live stream. I am your host, Ben Wheeler, and hope you're all having a wonderful little Sunday. Everyone's a little sick. Everyone's a little, I don't know what to call it. Not quite dying, but we're wishing it. We're wishing it. Oh boy. Uh, Here we're talking
That was
today.
a depressing opener.
I know. I just think about it. It's like I've been sick. I've been sick for like a week, and it's driving me bonkers. Uh, let's see here.
See, the funny thing is, I'm the one who coughed, and I'm not even really sick. I just kind of have a cough.
Pretty sure
I'm not sick.
I've had pneumonia.
Shut up.
I'm pretty sick.
I'm not sick.
I'm dying, Anthony. Anthony.
Get over it, friggin'. Just wipe it off. Wipe it off.
Yeah, that's
What's the
fair.
word?
Take a salt tablet.
Yeah, there you go. Was going to use a worse word, but then I figured, nah, I'm not live on air.
No, I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, which is how I like it. I like my exaggerations comedic and my effects comedic, I guess. That came out worse than I expected.
I think this is the best start we've ever had to a live stream.
No, the best start we ever had was that one that messed up the audio. That was an
That's
amazing
true.
start. It
You
was
can hardly beat that. And the two times that YouTube just randomly shut us down because of background images.
right. Right now I've got one of Yoshikage Kira. That's pretty sweet. That's a pretty sweet image, honestly. Oh, this has kind of not been a great year in review for anime.
Not a great year? No, it's been a terrible year for anime. But with exceptions,
That's true.
and that's what we'll talk about. It's been a mostly terrible year for anime. But only
Mostly.
mostly.
That's right. Gleipnir has been a thing. That's probably the only anime I've actually watched.
Uh, wanna go see if we're gonna do year in review, wanna do season by season? That's always fun.
Sure. Take us away, Anthony. Give us the season.
So let's start off. Winter 2020. So Winter 2020 had three shows that were worth talking about. And they were Keep Your Hands Off of Isaac Ken. Quite good. Thoroughly enjoyed. Somali and the Forest Spirit. Quite good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And just Doro Hidoro. That's it.
That was a pretty good one. I enjoyed
Where,
Dorohedoro immensely.
once again, pretty good. Enjoyed it. None of them, I don't think, were great. None of them were as good as any of the five best shows of 2019, which were No Guns Life, Promise Neverland, Dr. Stone, Demon Slayer, and I'm missing a big one.
You said Promise Neverland.
Beastars.
Beastars,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was it. Beastars.
Beastars was pretty good.
So those were my big five of 2019. They were like those five shows were good enough that in any other year I could have seen them being like the best show of the year. So I don't think any of the shows from Winter 2020 were as good as any of the top five. Except arguably Doro Hidoro was around, I guess, the level of the Promised Neverland, maybe.
Yeah. It wasn't the best, and the manga is the superior way to read Dorohedoro, but I was amused.
I also, by the way, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or if you're pronouncing it right. I have no idea
Dorohedoro?
if it's Doro Hidoro or Doro Hetero.
So the chaotic spirit of the show basically requires it to be pronounced in different ways.
I see.
Yep,
So we'll just both pronounce it the way we've been pronouncing it and just pretend that it was on purpose.
exactly. You get it. Good job.
As far as the other two shows that I thought were pretty good, Keep Your Hands Off of Aizouken was fun. I liked it. It was a critical darling because it was a navel-gazy sort of show that was about making animation, so critics eat that shit up.
Yep.
But with that said, it did deserve a lot of its hype. At least it was quite entertaining.
It's like
And I thought some. Go ahead.
it's like it's one of those shows where it's like because the critics can't or won't make anything of their own and just kind of like relegate themselves to comment on it, they they you know they like it. Like it's like I didn't watch it for the simple reason is that I'm doing my own thing. I don't need to I don't need to do this sort of thing because you know, I'm already doing it.
Falcon's good though, and you like that director because you were a
I
big
do.
fan of the Night is Short Walk On Girl.
And
So I
Tatami
recommend
Mac
it. It's
Galaxy.
quite good.
Oh yeah. Like I recommend it. It's like, yeah, absolutely. This looks fantastic. The opening was a darling. It was a fantastic opening.
Yeah, that was I don't remember the name of it, but it starts off with like easy breezy. That was it.
Yes, I
That
think
OP is hilarious.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I also like the different versions of it. They people were doing like fan versions of it, which were
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Edda and Eddie I think was the best one.
They did an Eddie one. That's fantastic.
Yes, they did. But yeah, Easy Breezy was a great OP. One of the OPs of the year, for sure. I don't think it is my favorite OP of the year. We'll get there because my favorite OP of the year goes with my favorite show of the year, so
Ooh.
which is not for another season too. But yeah, that was quite good. And Somali and the Forest Spirit was slow moving and it had its problems, but I liked it a lot. It looked fantastic, visually really nice, and I don't know. I was affected by the story.
Mm-hmm.
It got to me. I was moved by it. I hope they make a season 2 one day.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they will because they've caught up to the manga
Which
or
one?
the web comic, whatever it is.
Which anime are you talking about?
But it was a fun show, Somali and the Forest Spirit.
Oh yeah.
I actually ranked it since at the time when I did my Winter 2020 list, I actually put it above Aizouken. Somali,
Yeah.
Somali and the Forest Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the time when I made my best anime of Winter 2020 list, I hadn't seen Doro Hidoro yet. So it was in between that and Aizouken for what my favorite show of the season was, and I actually put Somali above Aizouken because I thought it was more emotionally resonant. I thought the final scene was really well done and very touching. But at the same time, I could see why somebody just wouldn't care for it. So, eh.
There's
And I guess that's really the thing. All three shows, I guess that's really the problem, which is it's that if somebody didn't like any of them, I could kind of understand why, and I wouldn't recommend any of them to anybody, like I would with the best shows of 2019.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
They had a universal appeal. Like my problem with Somali was that it was like kind of generic and I didn't really pull anything out of it other than oh look at all this and it's like listen dude I've written this like what do I have to do with you know more
I
fan
thought their relationship was emotionally affecting and pretty well written.
yeah but I've got a
I
heart
did
of
have some
stone.
issues with. My issue is with what I call bargain bin Miyazaki philosophy. You know,
Yeah.
Nadia and the Secret of the Blue Water had it bad too. So this is the philosophy of people who grew up on Miyazaki. or were fans of Miyazaki but aren't smart enough to actually mimic him, and so they do like, what they think Miyazaki would have his philosophy be, and it's inevitably much dumber than actual Miyazaki films.
Yep.
And Somali and the Forest Spirit had that, and what I mean by that is they have like, the humans persecuted the monsters, and that's why and humans are terrible people, and and the monsters are good. And my problem with that is the same as my problem with all of these things, which is that so the monsters in Somali and the Forest Spirit are obviously just humans, right?
Yes.
Like by that I mean, sure they look different, but they act like humans. They have the intelligence of humans, and clearly the sorts of conflicts they have are very similar to the sorts of conflicts that humans would have.
They're just fuzzy
So
humans.
why am I to assume that they're better than humans?
Behold, they are in the image of
I don't
God,
believe that.
even as we are in the image of God. Therefore, they are fallen creatures. Or something,
And Princess Mononoke is the perfect example of the sort of film that did not do this. For example, the Forest Spirits, even though they were getting attacked by Lady Eboshi, it wasn't like they got along with each other. They had issues with each other as well. They fought with each other. They were at war with each other. Lady Eboshi just happened to be better at killing people than them. But
Yep.
that didn't necessarily make Lady Eboshi any worse than they were.
Yep.
Because Princess Mononoke is a brilliant film and one of the best movies ever made, and 99% of the commentary surrounding it is trash. What?
You right. No arguments.
One day, I'm going to do my thing on the 3 masterpieces of Hayao Miyazaki, and the first one is going to be on Princess Mononoke, and it's going to be all about how everybody's opinion on that movie is wrong. And has always been wrong.
Yeah.
Ben,
What? What?
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were still there or not.
I was just listening to you. Nothing.
Nope, that's it. I have nothing to add. That's too long of a story for me to get in. I could certainly expound on Princess Mononoke, but I would literally be here for like 20 minutes.
No. We're fine.
Just talking about Princess Mononoke, and I don't want to.
Don't you worry. Rounding out winter 2020, we have like the media. The top 3 were Darwin's Game, Ishiko, Zoku Reviewers, and Haikyuu to the top, in reverse order. Um,
We should mention sequels. Was Kaguya-sama that season or the next season?
I don't know.
I think the next season.
I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the Kaguya-sama.
Season 2.
So, Dorohedoro was my favorite.
I really enjoyed Kaguya-sama.
Oh yeah. But there were some notable ones that didn't get a lot, that were just kind of generic. Kyoko Suri, which is about the mysteries and the ghost girl and stuff, lacking an eye.
Ah, right. Was that Inspector?
Yeah, I think so. The problem.
I was kind of fond of Inspector, even though like for the entire second half of that show, nothing happened.
Yeah, like the problem with that show is that they went for something, and the problem is that the writer was unwilling to fulfill any of the events that are going on in the personal relationships, which is just a waste of time. Like, I dig it. Like, status quo is God. Like, Komi-sama has this status quo thing going on pretty hard, and people are starting to comment on it. But the thing is that it's still just their like second year of high school. These are adults dealing with adult things, kind of, and it's like, why can't you just take care of business? Okay, like just deal with it. Um, don't have the same
I
joke
get
50
that.
times. Uh,
As
uh,
far as winter 2020 goes, if I suppose having seen at least, I think I watched like 6 episodes of Doroki Doro. Probably was the best of the three, even though I can't technically comment because I didn't actually finish that show.
Of which three?
But of
Dorohedoro,
the
Aizuken.
Aizaoken and Somali,
Yeah.
of those three, that was
Oh yeah.
probably the best one. But I can't technically comment because I didn't finish. But of what I saw, it was well done at least.
Dorohedoro
However,
is a long series in the manga.
my problem with this season, I think, compared to the best shows of the last year, is that I would not like of those three shows. I wouldn't recommend any of them to just anybody. Like I could see legitimate reasons why somebody would say no, not really for me. Whereas I would tell everybody to like Promised Neverland was winter 2019, and I would tell anybody to give it a shot and see if they like
Yeah.
it. They might not, but like I would tell them
Hey.
give it a shot. But Doro Hidoro, I could absolutely understand somebody just bouncing right off
Oh yeah.
and going nope, or finding Somali dull, or finding Aizaoken dull.
Like the thing
Yeah,
with Dorohedoro is that it's actually like neutered compared to its manga thing, which had like a ton of like swearing and nudity and stuff like that. Like it's not even like its complete self, which is such a pity. I enjoy Dorohedoro a lot. It was made by a student of Tsutomu Nihei, who, even though I don't really follow him now, has my favorite manga of all time, Blame, under his belt. So it's like,
oh,
oh,
that's the blame guy,
yeah,
or the blam guy.
yeah,
I see. Actually, that fills in a few puzzle pieces. Then
yep. So
that
it's,
makes it make a lot more sense to me.
yep. So it's like it's got a very specific and very, defined fan base, but and it's a loyal fan base, but it doesn't grow very fast. So it just kind of like picks up, and all of a sudden you're into the cyberpunk thing. And if your girlfriend can't wear like 15 pounds of leather and 6-inch heels, like there's no point in living.
Exactly.
That's how it goes. Anyway, let's. I guess.
Oh, I should mention Haikyuu to the top. I tried watching it. It was really boring. Moving on.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys liked Haikyuu. Oh
I
no.
did. I liked season three. Season three was enjoyable. I think Alexander greatly overrates what is ultimately a pretty generic, if well done, sports show.
In my opinion, like most sports shows are basically the same. It's just a matter of how much emotion is off or on the court. Like, there's this baseball one.
I suppose. I mean, no, no, I'll demur a little bit. I did watch a little bit of Major Second
Yeah,
too. I watched like 10 episodes of Major Second, and my problem with Major Second, according to Ken Dickinson, fellow Pinkerton's ghostwriter for listeners, who is a big fan of the original Major, which is harder to find, so I haven't seen it yet. And Major Second is technically a sequel, even though it's standalone. But the issue, he says that Major Second hits harder for fans for people who are fans of the original Major series, which is considered one of the great anime of all time. So take that for what it's worth. But Major Second was very well done, and the characters were well conceived and well written. I just friggin' hated him. I hated the main character. He was so unlikable. Like, he was a smart character. He made sense in the world. It was
right.
like his dream was to be a baseball player because his father was a professional baseball player. But then he starts playing, and he's told that his aim is pretty good. He has very good control for such a young player, but he doesn't really have the arm strength yet, so they don't want to start him at pitcher yet. But maybe when he gets older and builds up arm strength, and this tiny bit of discouragement is enough to get him to quit baseball. And I was like, I don't understand how we're supposed to root for this kid. There's like,
Right.
he has absolutely no drive. He has no gumption, and And his problem is something that is thoroughly understandable and that I have absolutely seen with real people, and it's well written and well executed, but it's not likable. Like, I don't know
Right.
why I should root for him, because he got mildly discouraged. Like, not even badly discouraged. Not like he was told he was
Next year,
terrible.
kid, for sure. Oh.
And I'm like, I can't stand him. And he has to be, like, practically bullied into playing baseball again. And I'm like, our hero, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
This kid.
According to Ken, the show hits harder for fans of the original Major. And again, it's not like he's a badly written character. He's not. I just don't like him.
I think
It helps you understand, though. I will say this: it helps you understand a little more why so many shonen protagonists are so similar, because they're so easy to root for.
Yeah.
I mean, it did break the mold.
Sure.
Unlike most shonen protagonists, this one gave up, and and now I realize, oh wait, that's terrible. I hate this.
I never want to see this again.
And yeah, I got through like 10 episodes. It was fairly well done.
I hate this. Oh, I still hate it.
That's Tanakawa. We'll get there.
All right. So, you got anything else for winter 2021 or 2020?
Mm, Winter 2020. That's all I've got. That's
All
all,
right.
folks. Anime of the year, or anime of the season, we should say. Doro, by consensus, Doro Doro.
Yep.
My vote for runner-up is Somali and the Forest Spirit.
I abjure. Uh,
Fair
so
enough.
so next season is spring 2020. We've got Tower of God, Gleipnir, which are my second and first choices, I guess, or first and second. It's in there. Um, so
Let me
like,
pull up the Mal list myself.
there's also a Pari Ranman, which was like better than people give it credit for, like better than people say. But the
I
thing
did
is,
not like Apare Ranman. I was not a fan at all.
I it's kind of my best thing, and of course, this is the season that had the best anime in the year, Gal and Dinosaur,
Gal and Dinosaur.
best
I
anime
watched
of
one
the year.
episode of Gal and Dinosaur, and you know what? I kind of respect it. It is its own thing, and it will take no substitutes.
You're absolutely right. But it's funny because I've only ever watched like the one episode either, just because it's like, yep, I've seen it. This is exactly what it is. Time to do something else.
So, true story. When I had it on, after I finished it, my brother said, "Don't watch it again. That was weird. I don't like this." And I said, "You are completely correct. Your reaction is normal." But
You are a
I said,
baseline human.
yes. But with that said, I also found it both incredibly uncomfortable for reasons I can't quite articulate and extremely funny. Also for reasons I can't articulate.
It's surreal humor. This is something I've been working on with some of the other people. Is that like surreal humor has a quality in and of itself that people don't seem to understand. It's like it's supposed to be weird. It is weird by design. You're not
It
supposed
is,
like like sometimes I show stuff
and I respect it for that.
to I show some stuff to David Halquist and he's like, "Ben, what happened?" I'm like, "Take D8 sanity damage. You're just gonna have to accept it, David. You're just gonna have to accept it." What did I send him last
With
time?
that said, for all I say about it, I did not watch more than one episode, so make of that what you will.
No one does.
Yes.
Even fans of
Let's
the
see.
Gyaru
Thing
subculture.
yesterday for me was terrible and boring, and for some reason people liked it. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I sent him John McCain and his Vegetable Friends by Film Cow. I don't know if you guys remember that from the John McCain election, which was basically given to Barack Obama. Because as John McCain went through his life, it turns out he was traitorous both inside the Vietnamese prison camp and without it. Uh, that's not even a political statement. It's almost true. But no, Film Cow did a song called John McCain and His Vegetable Friends, and it's just singing about how he has all these vegetable friends. It's amazing. It's one of the funniest
That
things
is
on the
kind of
internet.
funny. Oh, there was something else from. Honestly, Spring 2020 was really not that bad of a season because there was
Yeah.
another show, Brand New Animal.
Wait, that was no. What?
That was Spring 2020. However, it did not come out on American Netflix till much, much later.
Oh, because you see,
But it did originally come out in the spring.
it isn't on the list. Where is it on the list? Oh, O and
If
A.
you go down,
Yeah. Oh, and it had
go down
Baki
to
the
Netflix,
Grappler.
you'll find it.
Okay. So yeah, it's
Yeah, actually, this was not like an awful, awful season.
Netflix had
It
a good
Gleipnir.
season.
Gleipnir was quite good.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. It had Kaguya-sama season 2, which I quite enjoy. I found pretty fun. And Daddy Daddy Do is a hilarious song. It had Tower of God, pretty good. Overall, like, that's the thing though. Much like, it's better than Winter 2020, but once again, I don't think anything was as good as the top 5 shows of the previous season.
So
Brand New Animal for a while I thought would be, but it didn't stick the landing.
it didn't. It was a pretty good landing, but it wasn't quite there.
No, it could have been better.
It could have been better, much better. We actually have a stream where we just talk about it for 2 hours. Um,
Yeah.
I did like it. The characterization was on point. The character design was on point. It's just that they did a twist villain and a final reveal, and honestly, it doesn't do what they like. Twist villains, even if they're out in the open like this is, just don't do what you think that they're going to do. They're just not going to do it. Like you just kind of have to let them go.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go. We already did our deep dive into BNA, so I won't do it again. But with
Yeah.
that said, it was a show that was like gearing up to be something like a 9 of 10, or dropped down to like a 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high 7 for me.
Yeah, I would say high 7.
The characterization was what really kept it from falling into a 6. Just because it's like, oh,
Mhm.
you actually,
And, like, it's not like the plot stopped making sense or anything. It still held together.
yeah,
It was just much less. It had a chance to be inspired, and it wasn't.
yep. For me, Baki the Grappler was pretty amazing. Honestly, the 3D Netflix shows have been worth seeing every time. Both Kingen Asura and Baki the Grappler are absolutely amazing shows. Um, even though
So
people say
Bakia is not listed on here.
it is.
I'm looking at my anime list.
Baki
simulcast
Dai
list.
Taisai Hen.
I wonder if it's because I'm only looking at the simulcast list. Let me.
I'm looking at the
back
O
and
and A
find it.
list.
News tag the spring 2020 anime chart. How about now? Spring 2020 anime rankings, week 1.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Actually, outside of Tower of God and Gleipnir, the non-Netflix shows have been kind of meh or no. Um,
Yeah.
there was the second
I
season
don't-
of Kaguya-sama, which I know you liked. But another thing of Food Wars, the final season, which at that point Food Wars was just suffering from zombification so badly. Like
And the final season was famously terrible, and I didn't even like it when it was supposed to be good. So
Right.
I ignored it.
Yep. Like it was it was pretty good, once they were doing it. But the thing is, they got too involved in everything. And the thing is that if your princess is, and pardon my language here, a complete and utter bitch every time she's on screen, I cannot have sympathy for her. So in other words,
Yeah.
when you're going to save the princess, but the princess has been absolutely disgusting this entire time as a character, you just can't do it. Like you can't build sympathy and momental emotion for it and expect it to land.
Yep. I don't have the context of Food Wars, so I can only agree with you in theory.
Yeah, no, it's fine, but
Sounds
like
about right.
but Erina, and I still remember her name because the first season, first like the manga was pretty good up until a certain point. Uh, was like, ooh, you're terrible. I'm gonna try and kick you out, like typical prompt sitcom protagonist. But they don't put the work into her defrosting, so she just goes from like zero to defrosted in an instant. And it's like, I don't care about this. I don't care about your
So
evil
she was a
father.
badly written tsundere, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes. So she was like most tsundere. Uh, Tower of God was pretty good,
It
but
was.
not great.
The fights were
I
pretty
think
good.
that the fights were pretty good. I liked the visual style, even though for some reason that got a lot of criticism.
It's
But I liked
basically
it.
it's
So
it's discount Hunter x Hunter. That's what it is, and it's not bad.
yeah,
That's not a bad thing.
it's definitely had that Hunter anything can happen sort of vibe that they had going for them in the Hunter exams, but not as good. The big criticism I noticed that Tower of God seemed to be split between people who read the original webcomic and people who didn't. The people who read the original webcomic seemed to like it as an adaptation because it rushed so much, and it definitely did rush. You could sort of tell just watching it. People who did not read the webcomic seemed to enjoy it. I'm in the latter group. I thought it was pretty good.
I
I
did not
enjoyed
read the
it. I'll be
webcomic either.
attention for season 2. Yeah, so I didn't read the webcomic. I will be paying attention to season 2. I hear that that the webcomic is one of those is often compared to One Piece in that it's been running for a very long time and has remained solid the entire time of the entire this whole time since it began, which is impressive.
It's yeah, like it's stayed up there in the rankings on webtoons and stuff like that. Um, the only thing I've been looking forward to on webtoons is the Lore Olympus adaptation, but that's because my opinions can be trash sometimes.
uh, yeah, I honestly though I don't really have that much to say analytically about Tower of God. It was a fairly well done, battle shonen. Lots of twists and turns. Probably moved too fast, but I like the visual style. That's it.
Yep.
Hunter. However, if it's between this and 2011 or early 1999, Hunter's better.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
but it's Hunter x
I would
Hunter.
say both Hunters actually. Yeah, but on the other hand, that's hardly fair because Hunter is a legitimate classic. Yeah,
Yep. Nothing.
so it's gonna be better than most things.
Yep. Not much else to say about it.
But
Eh?
it's a fair comp.
Yeah.
It's a fair comp, though. I think.
Yeah. Like we're not comparing it against something which it couldn't compare against two. Like it's you know comparing something like this to like Lore Olympus, which has more of a drama, rom drama, than anything else, would be an unfair comparison. Uh, but comparing it to its peers is perfectly fine. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than I enjoyed Baki. Baki.
We should mention Gleipnir, but we talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
Gleipnir
Gleep.
was surprisingly good. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but I was engaged. I was impressed with the plot twists hit. I think
Yep.
there was a lot of build up to them, so they had a lot to live up to, and I think that they sold me the importance of the plot twists and things like that. The action was extremely well animated, like really good, shockingly so.
Yep.
And it's a good comp to Darling as a more adult version of Darling in the Franxx done right.
Yep. It's very adult for what it is in the manga, and
Is it considered shonen or seinen? It seems like seinen.
let me actually check.
Gleipnir Sign.
Kodansha Young Magazine, the third imprint.
Yeah, it's a seinen.
Explains a lot. Yeah, it's
Honestly, it should be a seinen though. So
yeah.
no argument there.
Yep.
It very much should be a seinen.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's a show that I recommend.
There's. I'm just looking through it again.
What was that?
Just looking through the choices again. There really just isn't very much in there in that season that's worth talking about that we haven't already talked about because we're not hacks, or at least much of them. Let's see.
So let's see. Summer. We are past the spring. Winter, spring, now on to summer 2020 anime.
Stop saying 2020. It's giving me PTSD. Come on, bro. Come on.
Nonsense.
Come on, bro.
Here we go. Anime Planet. They're a pretty good resource for.
Just go on my anime list.
Let's see. It had Agretzko season 3. Agretzko season 1 and 2 were woke nonsense and overrated.
Yep.
I wasn't even keeping in mind the fact that the translations were terrible for Agretzko, which they absolutely were. They made it even more woke than it already was. Agretzko was woke enough on its own that I did not think it was nearly as clever as I thought it was.
You see, like,
even though I had friends who loved Agretzko and recommended it to me, I was just not that into it.
come on, bro. It's just like life in offices and stuff like that. And it's like, no, shut up. It's I don't need to live that. Okay, I've lived that. Like it's not nearly as fun as anything else. Like it's like you think it's gonna be fun because you don't have to work all the time, but you still have to work all the time if you're any good. Like.
Okay, so the summer season has my show of the past 2 years in it. But let's go in order. As I'm looking at this in alphabetical order, there's Agretzko season 3. Didn't watch, wasn't a fan of Agretzko overall, but people loved it, so I thought I'd mention it. Decadence. Never finished it.
Disappointment of the year.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think. I need to finish it before I decide if I'm disappointed with it or not. However, I will say that I did stop watching it. What does that tell you?
Right.
But I do want to finish it. So I will hold off on my final opinion, except to say that I think that they were getting too clever by half for their own good.
Yep.
But, whatever. Let's see. Dragon's Dogma was the hate watch of the year, I think. Jeff put it on his list. I don't know anything about it. Fire Force second season. Fire Force was such a disappointment. Nothing to say about season 2. I didn't watch it. Let's see. Don't know. Hula Ing Babies has a 1.5 stars, but I remember Digibro way back before he divorced his wife and started wearing a dress. Gave Hula Ing
He
Babies
was
a good review.
she encouraged him wearing a dress, and you know it.
She did, yes. Anyway, Hula Ing Babies, he gave a good review, even though it has 1.5 stars. And it's like one of the lowest ranked shows ever, and he said it was pretty good. People are dumb. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. Otherwise, I'd annoy it, or I'd ignore it. I mean, Japan Sings 2020. Saw a couple of episodes. It was pretty good. I heard that there were some production value drops, so it doesn't have great reviews. But what I saw was decent.
The first for that show, the first few episodes are what matter. But the thing is that like around the time that show was coming out is when the quarantine hit real hard. So it's like I can see why.
So Japan Sings 2020 I know that disappointed some people, but I saw the first few episodes. They were pretty good. I heard they're gonna remake it as a movie. So hey, maybe I'll keep an eye out for that.
I would watch
No
that.
Guns Life season 2. Actually, I was kind of disappointed in No Guns Life season 2. I didn't find it as memorable as season 1. But I have nothing specific to say. I can't really tell you exactly why, except that it didn't capture me nearly as much as season 1 did.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back to it though.
It's season 1 had a pretty tight thing. Like I didn't finish it, but it's like you can't mess up a setup like that without being incredibly incompetent, which they were not.
Ooh, so here are the two big ones, and I skipped past the one I really want to talk about, but God of High School.
Yep.
So, the God of High School, I actually greatly enjoyed.
Yes. I haven't watched it, but like I saw the girl who was wrestling, and I was like, Anthony, why didn't you tell me they had a big titty wrestler? And you were like, I didn't know. And I'm like, are we watching the same thing? What's wrong with you?
She doesn't show up till pretty late in. I did end up finishing it though.
Yeah.
I hadn't finished it for a while, and I actually went in and watched to the end. So, the God of High School, what's his name, Scamboli? Scamboli
Yes.
had a pretty good review of it. His review was basically dead on, and I have nothing to add. Basically, what he said was that the story is generic and kind of nonsensical.
Yep.
The girl character, Mira, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say Mira, something like that. The girl character who fights with a sword is really annoying. Jin is kind of generic, but the other guy is okay. But all of that you just kind of tolerate because the fight scenes are unbelievable. And he is right, they are. Oh, holy shit, they made a Cells at Work OVA? Where the platelets head to a theater after work? I'm gonna have to watch that. I will watch it and I will enjoy it. That's literally how it's advertised. Platelets go to the theater after work.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see why you'd want to watch it. It sounds adorable. Especially since we're looking...
Morty versus Genocider. Morty goes on an adventure to Tokyo, Japan to try and help stop the genociders. Nothing weird happens.
What?
That's how it's advertised.
I didn't even hear about that one.
You know how I vaguely recognize it from a Film Theory episode?
Huh. It's not even coming up.
I enjoy Film Theory because everybody takes him super seriously.
Right.
So they all hate him.
I
And I
mean,
think that that's really funny because the guy Matt Pat clearly doesn't take himself seriously at all.
yeah. I
Like
I used to
if
watch it.
you actually watch film theory and pay attention to Matt Pat, he clearly doesn't take half of what he says seriously at all. But people take him super seriously and get so mad at the film theory stuff that he comes out with, and then he'll like make fun of himself for like ruining people's enjoyment of shows all the time.
Yep.
So I enjoy film theory.
I I honestly super enjoy his Five Nights at Freddy's series on Game Theory.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like I don't even care. I've never actually played Five Nights at Freddy's. I just love his how he does the lore because one, he doesn't have a voice that makes me want to creatively craft my wrists into something else. Which a lot of people just lose me instantly. It's like you sound like you're smoking a hookah out of your nostrils. Stop, please.
So yeah, Matt Pat, who is the film theory guy, by the way, slash game theory guy, by the way, for people who don't know. Matt Pat made a lot of the My Hero Academia fans angry because he had a theory that All Might actually had a quirk, and he didn't realize that he had, which was that he's able to absorb all of the power of One for All. So he had like a power absorption quirk, and of course they wouldn't have realized he had the quirk until after he got One for All. And I
Yep.
thought it ended up like eventually in the comics being disproven, but I thought it was actually kind of a solid theory. But it made people so angry,
Right.
like so mad. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even think he cares.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
like
not that big a deal. It's just
it
a
makes
show, guys.
it makes a certain amount of
It's
sense
just
because like how else does he handle the immense power of um One for All? Like Deku is like destroying his limbs over here, while One for All enjoys the full flexibility of his fingers. Like it's like
yeah, exactly. It didn't really add. So that was his theory, and I thought it was a pretty solid theory. Eventually, the manga disproved it. Uh, and whatever.
yeah,
But like people took it so seriously.
there
They were
it is.
making like response videos. They were talking, videos about how a theory like ruins the soul of a work. It was supposed to be thematic, but just but like Deku was quirkless, All Might was also
Oh
quirkless.
no. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, now you're turning All Might into a lie or whatever. I'm like, well, everything you say is on one hand true, but on the other hand, just relax a little bit, buddy.
Right.
It's not that big a deal. Mega Buster Shepard said there's a weird cult of hatred around Matt Pat. Yes, there is, and I don't really get it.
It's because he's so nice and wonderful and friendly.
Well, there's a weird cult of hatred around him, but the thing is, like I said, I was listening a few of the film theory videos the other day, and it's very obvious when you listen to him that, like, he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
He talks all the time, like, ruining your childhood one theory at a time. He has a theory about how, like, the Grinch would actually have died. Like, and he clearly knows that it's not, he's taking it too seriously or whatever. He says it all the time.
Right.
Like, people need to not, they need to not take Matt Pat so seriously. I find him amusing.
No, I will take the internet seriously, Mega Bustard Shepherd. I will. Eh,
Also, by the way, hi, Mega Muster Shepherd. Thank you for joining in the chat. Now,
hey, hey, hey.
before we talk about the one that I want to talk about, I'll mention that ReZero came out. We already discussed this quite a bit. It was pretty good.
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
ReZero?
Yep.
You trash.
ReZero Season 2.
You trash.
I watched a bit of it. It was good. You either don't... by now, you should know if you like ReZero or not. I think that your enjoyment of ReZero depends almost entirely on whether or not you could get behind Subaru as a protagonist.
So,
So,
in the interest of having some fun, The Grinch is an otaku hero journey.
So, which version of the Grinch are we talking?
The only one that matters. The Jim Carrey one.
The Jim Carrey movie is terrible, man.
It is not.
I'm throwing that out. I am dropping that gauntlet. I hate that film. It's so bad.
Why?
Because the
Why?
booze look. I'll tell you why. Because they have. I forget what it was. It might have been Red Letter Media that pointed this out. But. So. The Red Letter. So, they point out that at one point when the Grinch runs off to a mountain yelling, like, I hate Christmas. She has a little thing where they go, nobody knows why you hate Christmas, and they just have the guy from Wrestling go, but we do know. We just saw what happened. It's right there. Go, we know the reason.
Yeah, but that's part of it.
That's the answer.
That's part of it.
That's why I can't stand that movie.
Right, but they're so blind, they're so decadent as a society and as a people that they literally taunt a man into burning down their town, and they're like, "Why do you do it?"
That's such a muddled message, though, compared to the actual two good versions that exist. The Chuck Norris cartoon and the actual book.
Right, but here's the thing, though. I like it better where the Grinch is rebelling against a degenerate and out and out crazy society,
Can
and
we at least
brings.
agree that the Illumination version that turns the Grinch into an incel is just bad?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't even see it. I took one look at it and I'm like, well, this is gonna eat crap. There's not even any minions in it.
So Megabuster Shepherd says, I'll admit that Matt Pat's video on the influence of Star Wars was woefully undercooked, but I'm not going to blame the guy for not knowing the pulp influences of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Very few people read older stuff. Meh, I've never seen that video, so I can't say.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah,
But like,
can't really say.
like I think like because we're in an echo chamber of our own. I think people kind of underestimate how important some of this stuff is for people. It's just not important. Like no, oh, dang. Nobody reads the old stuff except us and a few other people who just kind of roam around and eventually fall into our gravitational well. Like I don't blame people for that stuff just because it's like, yeah, of course they're not going to read it. Like they're normal people.
So, now let us get into the show that I have talked around from this season to my show of the year and of last year, Great Pretender. Great Pretender was fantastic. Absolutely awesome show. And, the big five of 2019, the Demon Slayer, No Guns Life, Dr. Stone, Promise Neverland, and Beastars. I think that Great Pretender was probably better than all of them.
Ooh, that's a
It was
spicy
that
take.
good. That is a spicy take. It's a very spicy take, but I binged everything that was out. I haven't seen they came out with 4 more episodes. It's like the last arc of the show. So I still need to watch that, but I binged everything that was out in 2 days. I loved it. It is a great, great show. Visually, just fantastic. Music is fantastic. Probably the best soundtrack I've heard since, best soundtrack maybe since Kill la Kill.
Did you
It's a
keep going?
great soundtrack.
Did you ever watch Aka?
Aka, no, no, I didn't.
I would like your opinion on that, just because it's a government thriller sort of. Um, how do I want to put it? Uh, it's a thriller. It's a political crime thriller that is was pretty awesome, and has a sort of similar feel from whatever
How's it spelled?
AC ACCA 13, ACA 13.
Aka 13. There we go. Territory Inspection Department. Interesting.
Yep. It has a similar feel to that, so I think you'd enjoy it too.
It looks good. As I'm just quickly looking at the plot on Wikipedia. I guess it should be Infogalactic. Oh well. Anyway, just as I quickly look at the plot, it looks good. You know what show? There's that show that everybody has, I think, that they know is good, but they never finish. The show for me is Black Lagoon. That my brother's a big fan of it, and every now and then he'll put it on. And every time I watch Black Lagoon, I like get sucked in. I end up watching a couple episodes, and I go, this show's actually really, really good. I should probably sit down and watch it one day, and I forget about it. So the show that I really want to get to next is Black Lagoon. With that said, Aka 13, interesting idea. Wow, what a cool idea for a show. As I look it over, I'll have to give it a shot. But the Great Pretender. So for people who don't know what Great Pretender is about, it's about a Japanese con artist gets conned by a Frenchman who lives in America. I can't remember the name of our main boy, which is a shame because it makes it sound like he's not memorable, but he's a fine character. Anyway, main boy, we'll call him Protagonist Kun. As all good protagonists and bad protagonists are known as. So Protagonist Kun is like a 2-bit Japanese con man, and he's proud. He considers himself like Japan's best con man, and he tries to con a Frenchman named Laurent Ferry, but he gets conned in exchange, and he thinks he's gonna get caught by the police and runs off to America with him, and he ends up getting roped into like conning a corrupt Hollywood producer into buying like millions of dollars in drugs. It's actually fantastic. The twists in the first like 2 or 3 episodes, they just keep like switching the plot around and messing with you. It's just terrific. The characters are great. Voice acting, it's in English, so because it takes place in America, they start off with them speaking Japanese because they're in Japan. But when he goes to America, they switch to all American voice actors. The only weird thing is they keep talking about how Protagonist Kun has a Japanese accent when he very clearly does not, because now they've switched to an actual American voice actor, which is kind of funny. But otherwise, the voice acting is in English for the most part, and it's terrific. But the real star of it, the visual style, is great. The soundtrack is great, but the writing in Great Pretender is fantastic. It just twists and turns all over the place, goes in all of these crazy directions. They subdivide it into cases, so like the first case is them trying to rip off this corrupt Hollywood producer out of millions of dollars with drugs that don't exist. And the second case involves them taking part in a plane race with 2 brothers who rig all of the races, and they like end up creating a fake casino and then getting him to gamble everything in this fake casino so that they can lose all their money. And the third one involved an art con with this corrupt art appraiser who hires somebody to make forgeries of classic paintings and then pretends he discovers them. And they con him into buying a forged painting for millions of dollars. It's all just so good. Just great stuff. And I actually think, Ben, I really want you to give it a shot one day, because I think that you would enjoy it. The OP is fantastic. The ED is Freddie Mercury singing the song Great Pretender. So it's fantastic. and I have only good things to say about it.
Awesome. It does certainly sound like your anime of the year, uh, which, you know, not always. Um, People can't always say that, especially about a year like this. I don't really have anything else to say about this season. Decadence was my disappointment. There was Monster Girl Doctor, which was pretty good actually.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh, almost forgot about that.
yeah, a lot of people did, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Unfortunately, a lot of these shows haven't actually finished airing. Like even Apare Ranman, uh, trash as it was, um, but so enjoyable. Uh, is still doing its normal season airing, just one slow episode at a time, and it's pretty
Yeah,
unfortunate.
that's true. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Apari around then. Uh, just wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
not much. No,
let's see. Nope, that's it. That's all I got for summer 2020. Maybe I'll give a longer opinion on Decadence after I finish it. That might even be worth a stream because Decadence, to its credit, disappointment or not, I think it would be worth talking about to see the very interesting ways it succeeds or fails.
yeah, I could. We could do that sometime in the future. Um, I still see an episode being put out on occasion, and it's like it's weird. I'm not even sure. Like this is when the quarantine really hit the production cycles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I'm surprised Great Pretender came out on time. And even then, it released its last four episodes like a season later, and I wonder if that's why.
yeah,
But it did not affect the production values, let me tell you. Great Pretender looks great.
yeah, it's always just looked great.
I hard recommend for that show. So, summer, fall 2020.
So fall
In this
2020,
season, I have watched almost nothing. I've
right?
watched very little.
There's is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Season 3, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Believe it or not, I did watch several episodes of that, but I got bored pretty fast.
It's a boring concept. It was pretty big back in the day when they had there was
I'm
more like
fond of it.
MGTOW.
I'm honestly, I was pretty fond of season one and season two of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. It's a trash show, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything here really. Um,
I did watch Jujutsu Kaisen. I was not watching it. I watched the first few episodes and I thought it was kind of okay. Yeah, I was like, this is all right. I really did not like, and I'm going to spoil a big part of this. So, people who are listening who haven't seen it, you're about to get ruined. Sorry. Uh, I really did not like when they rip out Itadori's heart and then they bring him back to life. Even though the way they do it isn't necessarily terrible, it was pretty entertaining. Just the fact that they did it all like really annoyed me because now there are apparently no stakes in the show. The main character literally can't die. Uh, but then I went back to it. I decided, I had a day because there was snow because of the snow. I was stuck at home all day, so I put on Jujutsu Kaisen. I started up again, and you know what? I'm actually caught up on it, and it got really good. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I'll give it some credit. It's a pretty good show. It's ranked way too high. It's ranked 4.6 out of 5 on Anime Planet, which is absurd, but it's quite entertaining. I wish the characters were a little bit more interesting than they were, but the action is good and the story was pretty well done. Uh, Haikyuu to the top. Haikyuu season 4's part 2 came out. Haikyuu season 4's part 1 was pretty dull, so I didn't get to that. Oh well. Let's see. Moriarty the Patriot I avoided because it looked awful and the idea sounded terrible, but it's gotten great reviews and everybody I know raves about it, so maybe I'll give it a shot. And yet, it's hard for me to get past the fact that it just looks like garbage.
I mean,
Like,
the concept feels like
looks
garbage.
That's what I mean. I guess, appearance-wise, it looks generic. First off, visually, it looks incredibly generic. They have turned Moriarty and Victorian England into generic anime pretty boys. There's nothing visually about the show that stands out. And the idea just sounds terrible to me. So, Moriarty is sympathetic to the working class of Britain, and he is frustrated by the systemic inequity and strategizes to fix the nation. That sounds like so awful to me. It just grates. And I love everything Sherlock Holmes. I was a huge fan of seasons 1, 2, and kind of sort of 3 of Sherlock. The Christmas special was possibly the worst thing ever created by a human.
You've mentioned the Christmas special several times. Like, what's it about that makes it so bad?
Oh,
I never got that far.
This is My Last Jedi. This and the Prince Caspian movie are My Last Jedi.
Oh.
But I need you to understand that when the Christmas special came out, I was a really big fan of Sherlock because I love these alt-universe type stories, set it in modern times or different places and whatever. That's right up my alley. So this was catnip to me. And I was really looking forward. The Christmas special was going to be, we're going to do an episode of Sherlock, but we're going to set it in Victorian England. Like the original Sherlock Holmes stories. I thought that was a great idea. So I was like super looking forward to this. And the special was so bad. The solution at the end, it turns out that because women don't have the right to vote, it is okay if they kill people, and you should be on their side because that means that you'll be on the right side of history if you support them. When they came up with the solution, which, by the way, Sherlock does not find the solution. Mary finds the solution. Remember Mary Morstan, Watson's wife? Yeah, she's a secret agent because, people are retarded. And so, anyway, in Victorian version Mary Morstan, who isn't even a secret agent, she's just a woman, she figures out the mystery, not Sherlock Holmes, as happens all the time in Conan Doyle stories. And then they decide that they're not going to do anything even though they committed murder because women don't have the vote, and if you're against suffrage, you're on the wrong side of history. And this guy jilted a woman. He didn't rape her. He didn't assault her. He jilted her. So he deserved to be murdered. And they were just not going to do anything about it. I yelled, "Fuck you," and I threw my remote at the TV. And I ended up watching season 4 and hating it. And that forever soured me on the show. I had to look back on it and reassess how good or not good the show was, in retrospect, because that was so bad.
Yeah, that sounds right. We finally have the answer.
It was horrendous. And season 4, you know what? Season 4 of Sherlock, it was almost as bad. It wasn't quite as bad, because nothing is going to be quite that bad. Well, no, there are things that are almost as bad. The Prince Caspian movie, that was about as bad. That was a train wreck. But man, I hated it. So Moriarty the Patriot, though, just rubs me the wrong way. just looks like commie propaganda to me. I don't know.
It probably is commie propaganda. Friend
Mega
stream
Buster
Moriarty
Shepherd
was.
says my friend.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he says my friend streamed it. It was okay, and Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century was better. Maybe I'll try that out one day. I
It's
bet it liked it.
it's like one season. It's part of the sort of the Fox Kids things that they were doing, where they were trying to compete with the WB. It's kind of from my generation. It wasn't bad. I just don't remember it very well.
Oh, fair enough. Let's see. There was I mentioned Haikyuu to the top. As I look through the list, I mentioned Jujutsu Kaisen, and I said I recommend it. It's pretty good. So I'll just say right now that my anime of the season is Jujutsu Kaisen. It's quite good, and I recommend it.
I have no opinion.
You'd probably like it.
Oh, I meant over anime of the season.
I see. I do want to see the Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena, but unfortunately it's on a separate platform than Verve, so that's going to be annoying to watch.
I
As
mean,
it looks like a similar idea to Kino's Journey, which I enjoyed.
Anthony, I've given you the tools. I've shown you the mercies of the high sea.
I know, just a pain in the ass. And don't worry, I don't pay. I do free trials, man. Obviously, I'm not a hack.
Right. Who do you think
Mega
I
Buster
am?
Shepherd says nothing will top full Rathbone Sherlock adaptations. Actually, my hot take is I kind of agree with that. I don't know if it's necessarily the best Sherlock Holmes movies, but he is the best Sherlock Holmes, and I say that having seen Jeremy Brett in several adaptations. Basil Rathbone is the Chad pick.
Not Robert Downey Jr.
Jeremy Brett's good. I like Basil Rathbone more. What was that?
Not Robert Downey Jr. Not that
Believe it or
horrible.
not, I actually have nothing bad to say about Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Sherlock Holmes. I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
I like those movies. I don't think they're bad. Let's see. Oh, of course. How am I for Tanakawa, Over the Moon for You, or Tanakawa, Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the moon.
Exactly.
Let me dance
So,
among the stars. So, you never played Bayonetta,
question.
did you?
Do you think of hold on? Do you think of Evangelion or Frank Sinatra when you hear that song?
Bayonetta.
Because
The Chad
I think of
pick.
Sinatra. That I have to admit that is the Chad pick though. Anyway,
Which is.
Tanakawa Over the Moon
Ooh.
for You was a terrible show, and I watched like 11 episodes of it, so and I'm gonna finish it. Recommended.
Recommended through clenched teeth.
It's like if you expect me to have something to say about it, I don't. It's extremely generic. The characters aren't very interesting. I guess it looks fine. The girl is drawn kind of cute. There's that. So yeah.
And that's all that matters.
What was that?
And that's all that matters.
Pretty much. So it's okay. I don't know. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. So recommended.
Fantastic.
Let's see. What else is there? Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I tried to watch it the other night. It was such a pain in the ass to find a good pirating that I gave up and watched Tokyo Godfathers instead, which is excellent, by the way.
Did you?
And is my
So you still haven't seen it yet?
No, unfortunately.
All right.
However, I very much want to. So it's supposed to be awesome.
Tokyo Godfathers.
Earwig and the Witch still isn't out yet? I'm surprised.
A lot of things aren't out
That's
yet.
the
Have you?
new Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
Interesting. My friends are... Megabuster Shepherd says, my friends are trying to get me to watch the furry anime that came out this year. I declined. I will not take a that plunge into that deep, dark night. Beastars, or, sorry, Brand New Animal is pretty good.
You're like, which furry anime is he talking about? Beastars?
Beastars
BNA?
is better.
Actually, yeah, Beastars is better. It sticks to landing. It's it's pretty good.
So, that's really all I have to say for this season. In summary, anime of the winter is Dorohedoro by consensus. Anime of the spring is... Hold on, I'm pulling it up because I'm literally already forgetting, which is a bad sign.
It was a bad year.
Oh, I forgot to mention Ascendance of the Bookworm Season 2.
Ugh.
That was pretty good.
I don't like the Bookworm show.
I enjoy it. It's not,
Because it's like,
not a masterpiece or anything, but...
well, it's like, you mean being a nerd will solve my problems, and there's just a little kid in my head, in the back of my head, hugging its knees going, no, it never solves any problems. And I go, I know, little guy.
But let's see. Okay, Spring, Brand New Animal is my winner. Though Gleipnir is a close second.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Brand New Animal.
Both are good.
Because I finished
Gleipnir's
Brand New
better.
Animal. Which... which is more than...
Summer, of course, is Great Pretender. And a Landslide. That's my favorite. And fall is Jujutsu Kaisen. Also pretty easily. And that means that the winner of the anime of the year is, drum roll, my pick is Great Pretender, which you haven't seen. And honestly, don't even need to think about it. Easily the best anime of the year. Not only that, it's my favorite anime of the last 2 years. That means I would take it over Dr. Stone and Demon Slayer.
Wow.
It is that good. Everybody should watch it. It's terrific. With that said, unlike them, I don't think it's going to be a seasonal show. I'll need to see the last arc, but I have a feeling that this last arc is going to end the show.
My anime
However,
of
the fact that I'm saying it's number one without having seen this last arc should tell you how confident I am.
yeah,
Like, it's not even close. It's the easy winner.
I dig it. Man, anime.
What's your winner, Ben?
I'm looking forward. I'm looking through it. I think it might be Baki the Grappler, Asian Circuit or whatever it's called. Rai Tai
That's
tournament.
technically a season 2, isn't it?
Technically, if we're talking just like, if we're talking stuff that stands on its own, um,
New shows.
new shows. It's probably BNA. On
That's
this,
a fair pick.
on the simple
BNA 's
sense
pretty-
that I finished it and would be willing to, like there's a certain amount of like, if I let's say that I'm dating somebody, right? I know, right? Weird idea. And like, if somebody said, "Okay, let's watch this together," and it's like, "All right," and let's say that for something, like I'm trapped in a brain and my body's in a closet somewhere, and there's no tomfoolery to be had, I wouldn't consider it a bad time if I'm watching Brand New Animal. How's that? How's that for a list of qualifications longer than your arm?
Perfect. Can't get better than that. Overall, though, it's a weak year. Last year I had 5 shows that I considered like, it would be fine any year if any of these shows were the show of the year, it would be great, it
Yep.
would be a fine year. This year there are really only 2, and that's Great Pretender and Brand New Animal.
Yep. And
And
even
even Brand New Animal is kind of
well,
stretching it.
yeah, like Doro Hetero is pretty good. Is legitimately pretty good.
It is.
There's like it's not as bad as it could have been. It's just been bad. Like it's a bad year. Like there
It's a
hasn't even
shame.
been like a
Yeah.
good Galaxy's Edge book, and like I know that they've got um, all these, the Doc Spears Galaxy's Edge books, but like I don't care. I want an actual main plotline Galaxy's Edge book. Okay, I just do.
So, though, now we have a half hour to go before the unofficial end of the stream.
Yes,
So, what that means,
is that we're
let
talking
us
about the
discuss
season.
the anime of Winter 2021 and what a season this is going to be. So, in terms of sequels, we are getting Doctor Stone Season 2, Beastars Season 2, Cells at Work Season 2. There were at least 6. Let me find. Oh, The Promised Neverland Season 2. I'm waiting. The one I'm most excited about, I'm gonna save till last, and you already know what it is because I don't shut up about it. But
You don't.
nope. And you know what? I'm not even ashamed. I'm that excited.
He's that
Uh,
excited.
let's see. I mean, there is also ReZero Season 2, Part 2, Season 2, or whatever for people who care. I am not one of those people. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, Season 2.
Ugh.
People really like that show for some reason.
It's a
I don't get it.
yeah.
And, of course, drum roll please, Log Horizon Season 3.
Oh.
The Destruction of the Round Table is the name of Season 2, which is awesome. It is Studio Dean this time around. Studio Dean varies wildly in quality. They could be just awful or they could be great. I believe they were the same studio that did Season 2 of Log Horizon, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm confident. I'm confident. I think it'll be a
Oh
good
man.
season.
My understanding is that the source material remains strong into this season, so
I know, right?
I'm looking forward to that. Beastars Season 2, weirdly I hear that actually the source material, this upcoming arc that this season would be animating, is probably the worst arc of the manga. But I don't know. The manga's still supposed to be great though, so I'm looking forward to it. And then we get the new shows. And oh man, the new shows too. We get my personal favorite, Cells at Work, Code Black. Oh yeah. Alcoholism, smoking, erectile dysfunction,
You can't
athlete
wait for
club,
those episodes.
gout.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the gonorrhea episode. And it's gonna end with the dramatic heart attack scene. I'm amazed they even made it into an anime. Like it's not the sort of show I would have guessed would have gotten an anime. I gotta admit,
Yeah, but they make
but
that
I'm
edgy
happy.
stuff all the time, though.
It's not etchy though. It's just
Edgy.
weird. Oh,
Edgy.
edgy.
Yeah.
I suppose. It's just the fact that it's coming out alongside Cells at Work Season 2 that makes me surprised. Let's see, there is Skate the Infinity, so that's how they're stylizing it, because it was like I've seen it written out as SK and then Infinity, but it's apparently pronounced Skate the Infinity.
What show is this?
Skate the Infinity. Reki is a second-year high school student who loves skateboarding and gets caught up in S, an underground and dangerous skateboard race in an abandoned mine with no rules.
I do like those type of
Dirty
shows.
racers, AI racers, and other unique individuals compete in the youth skateboard race battle, animated by Bone.
Ooh.
So, that's one to look out for. Could be awful, could be awesome. Gonna keep an eye on it. Ooh, look, an isekai.
Look at those.
Oh wait, holy shit, this is actually not an isekai. It just has a really long title that makes it look like an isekai.
Tobey Last Dungeon.
Suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town.
Oh ho ho.
Not an isekai.
They're gonna make it an isekai for no reason. Like it's gonna be
It's
5
basically an
seconds.
isekai.
5 seconds. It's like I wish I could start over in another world. Bam, and then it never references the real world again.
So, like most. What?
Exactly. Almost. I'm still annoyed by the one where it's like it's the guy in another world except with his cell phone, where he has a harem of girls and he's keeping a girl in the real world on lockdown, and it's like ugh.
Oh, that's the one Jeff did his well, he did his like worst anime of the year on it.
Yeah, basically.
Blessings of Ragnarok and Einherjar or something.
Yep. But really, it's just in
Oh,
another
man,
world
that was
with a
funny.
cell phone.
Yes, that was funny. That Hortensia Saga currently doesn't have a synopsis. Check that soon, but it looks like a fantasy, so I don't know.
Probably isekai.
More Gintama. I do not like Gintama.
I don't understand the appeal. I think it's
No.
got a very Japanese feel to it, but like that's never I haven't been so weeaboo as to. It's like it's Japanese, so it's cool. No, like the Japanese are fine. Like it's nothing new or interesting or different. Stop it. Stop being weird.
Okay, so 243 Seiin Koku Danshai Volleyball. Alt title 243 Seiin High School Boys Volleyball Team. Now, hold on a minute. Let me read this just so. Kimichika Hajima leaves Tokyo, blah blah blah. Reunited with an old friend. They become an ace pair on the volleyball court, but at the last tournament before graduation, a fight causes them to split. Now reunited in high school, they are forced to mend their relationship in order to achieve their dreams of making it to the top. That's fucking Haikyuu. Now, Haikyuu, to be fair, they were never really friends, but they had known each other briefly before high school, and they're forced to, and they have like a whole episode that they need to spend like mending their relationship so that they can rejoin the team and make it to the top. That's just Haikyuu, and it's done by David Production. That's the Cells That Work / JoJo guys. That show's gonna suck. David Production is the last studio I want to see doing a sports anime.
Why? Why?
They don't animate things.
I mean, they
just
don't.
have really pretty artwork.
It's pretty fair.
So
I can't.
It looks good.
I can't argue.
But for sports action,
Yeah, that might surprise us. This might be why they do it. They got JoJo money, Anthony. They have JoJo money. They can do what they want. Maybe
yeah,
they.
for that matter, why the hell are they making another volley anime when they could be making Stone Ocean? And how come the poster for the sports anime shows all of the players sitting around in a ring? Like they're sitting. It's a sports anime. This is gonna be garbage. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, though.
You're like, yeah, it's gonna be garbage,
But it is David Production, so there's that. Let's see. Bottom tier character Tomazaki looks terrible. Dr. Ramoon, mysterious disease specialist. Okay, so that name immediately makes me go, I want to see what this is about. There is a doctor and apprentice who fights the disease which modern medicine cannot cure. His name is Ramoon. He acts freely all the time, is foul-mouthed, and doesn't even look like a doctor. Okay, so this is House. This is just House. However, once he is confronted with the mysterious disease, he can uncover the root cause of his patient's deep-seated distress and cure them. And beyond that, so yeah, somebody made House into an anime.
Yeah, but it's also like, what's that one show about the kid who was a doctor?
I don't know.
It had Neil Patrick Harris in it before he was.
Oh, Doogie Howser.
There we go. Yeah, that's just Doogie Howser. Like, we
Yeah.
could go back infinitely. We could go back infinitely to see who's what. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
I'm just looking through now to see what new shows are worth looking at. So, that volleyball show, worth looking at because David Productions, and, yeah, if you like sports anime, I know you don't. You just don't like sports anime at all, so
yep.
whatever. But if you like sports anime, it is David Productions, and they're a good studio, so I'll keep an eye on it. That skate anime, once again, it's Bones. Bones
I
is
wanna
always
see
worth
it.
looking at.
I want to see it just because.
I don't know what to make of it. It could be awful, but it could be, like, extremely cool. Skate the Infinity. Even that title.
Right? It's like, this is. Like, here's the thing, though. Like, I have a strong preference for things that are cool for coolness' sake. Like, K. That whole series was cool for coolness' sake, and it was. The writing on it is absolutely terrible. Like, it is. I've made people cry over better writing. Like, it's not good, but I love it.
Amazing.
I love it so much.
So, that supposed kid from the last dungeon, Boonies, moved to a starter town. Looks terrible. It looks like, it makes me wonder why it's not an isekai, because that would probably help it to sell better.
Yeah. It's probably going off the fact that it looks like an isekai.
It certainly does.
It certainly
Much
does.
like, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon, actually? Come to think of it. But,
Right.
whatever. Alright, here we go. High-rise invasion. Ooh, this looks edgy. Capital E. On the roof of a high-rise building, a young girl named witnesses a masked figure with a man's head open with gnats. Things get weirder from there. Yuri soon finds herself in a strange world with only two options for escape. Fight past the mysterious masked figures or leap to her death. That looks awful, and I will be watching it. It reminds me of, they have that horror show about the girl who woke up and, like, became friends with a serial killer as they fought their way out of, like, a mental asylum. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a couple years ago, and it was also very bad. It looks like that.
I cannot
And
remember what you're talking about.
I watched 4 or 5 episodes of that, so I'll enjoy that. It looks terrible.
Yeah,
Let's
Skate the
see.
Infinity is probably going to be my thing.
What's gonna be your thing?
Skate the Infinity. On the name alone.
Skate. That's true. That name is so nonsensical. Like, what does it even mean?
But just that somebody
The Infinity.
has the cojones to put out a name like Skate the Infinity. And it's like, oh.
And Bones is making it, and Bones is still legit, so... You know, like, they're a legit studio. They're a worth watching studio. Oh, they made a second season of True Cooking Master Boy.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, for good reason. Let's see, the hidden dungeon only I can enter. Looks terrible. Oh, okay, it's a porn. So he quests the hidden dungeon, place of legend. Nor, the third son of an impoverished noble family, has lost the one job offer he had. Was lucky enough to hear about it. Acquires a skill that allows him to create, bestow, and edit skills. In order to use it, he needs to accumulate points by carrying out such tasks as eating delicious meals and doing sexual things with alluring members of the opposite sex.
Oh.
Beautiful. Avoid. On the list
Anime of
of
the
avoid
year.
shows. Wave. Surfing Yape. What? What the hell type of title is that? It's a surfing anime. It looks terrible. Alright, ignore. So.
Oh, hey, Bradford Walker. Just a second. Give me a second. Let's see here. Trying to get furry. Alright, I don't really keep up with the anime premieres, but personally, Log Horizon is best anime I've seen this year. Bradford Walker says, right now all I'm excited for is Yamato 2205 coming west. Yamato, finally more Log Horizon, waiting for Papers and Paychecks Isekai, where a fantasy hero dies and reincarnates as a salaryman. That's fantastic. I'm also waiting for somebody to steal my idea of I reincarnated into another world and I got a harem, but it sucks because I'm gay. The novella I wrote and submitted into the system, so it's out there. It's in the system. All it takes is a hack to do it, um, which is basically.
Oh, and they're making the new Evangelion movie, baby.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Evangelion
gotta
3.0
have that.
plus 1.0.
Bradford Walker says one of the benefits of ready access to seasonal anime is the destruction of the weeb delusion of anime as a wonder medium of 100% awesomeness. No, a lot of it can and does suck. Megabuster Shepherd, pretty much why I prefer older anime in a nutshell. I can enjoy a mediocre slice of life or comedy series. Uh, mediocre shonen shoujo or horror, I check right out of. You gotta check out Pinkerton's Ghosts, Bradford. Or
You
no,
do,
Mega
yeah.
Buster. I need feedback on the direction of Megabus on Pinkerton's Ghosts. Everyone just says that it's great or I enjoyed it or I haven't watched it. Thanks for the recommendation. And it's like those are noises real
Mega
editors
Buster
make.
Shepherd recommends Devil as a part-timer. I like that check. It was
I
solid.
I never cared for it. I'm like, you're literally Satan. What's up with this?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. It wasn't like great or anything, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
Uh, so Mega Buster Shepherd says I can enjoy a mediocre slice of life or comedy series fine. Mediocre shonen, shoujo, or horror I check right out of. See, I'm the exact opposite. Mediocre slice of life is just boring to me. Mediocre comedy means you have nothing to offer because you're not funny and there's nothing else going for you, so
Yep.
there's no point in watching you. However, a mediocre shonen, sometimes I can do that. Mediocre shoujo, no, I don't watch shoujo really. I mean, unless you count Ken's terrible Tonikawa show that I'm still watching. Mediocre horror can be funny. I have to disagree with that. Mediocre horror can be quite funny.
Well, yeah, sure. And then there's the famous ghost story um, anime
Then
where
there's Ghost Story, which is hysterical and is one of the funniest things ever made.
it's true.
Holy shit, I love Ghost Story. It's so funny. That's one of those shows that I rewatch every now and then just to get in a good mood. Along with Konosuba.
Oh yeah,
Konosuba's another one. Can't fail to be put in a good mood after watching an episode of Konosuba because Konosuba's so funny. By the way, I still don't think you've seen the Konosuba movie yet, and you know what? If there's one thing that you need to make time to watch, even over Great Pretender, make it be the Konosuba movie, because that was fantastic.
I'm bad
The
at
best part
things,
is, I don't
things.
know if you saw Jeff's review of the Konosuba movie, but the one part he criticized for being like transphobic was easily the funniest part of the film. It was hysterical. Like, and I'm talking like the entire theater was almost like in tears of laughter. Just this entire for like a solid 5 minutes of the movie straight. We were like in tears of laughter. So the scene that Jeff was making fun of, Kazuma is kidnapped by the villain of the movie, who's, you know, just this big tittied anime witch or whatever. And of course, being Kazuma, he's like, maybe this isn't so bad. I don't know. You know, because he's Kazuma.
Right, right.
And Aqua, Megamine, and Darkness are in front of them, and they're like, don't worry, we'll rescue you, Kazuma. Kazuma's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go back. Go, what do you mean you don't want to go back? It's like, apologize. Apologize for the way you treated me. And then they're like trying to talk him out of it, and then he goes, hey, what's that I feel? And then you see him look down, he's like, and then she just says something like, that's right, honey. He goes, oh my god, Darkness, save me! Help! He goes, somebody help me! The entire theater was like in tears of laughter. Kazuma is like crying, sobbing, like, oh my god, somebody, Annie, please save me. Oh man,
That's pretty
so
funny.
good. Mega Buster Shepherd said I did burn out on Shonen a while ago. Shoujo and Slice of Life are my go-to. I will never burn out on Shonen. Never. Never.
So you guys need to keep that up because there's going to be a Chainsaw Man anime someday. Oh, and I cannot wait.
Probably not that too, because Chainsaw Man's really popular.
Oh yeah, like it just finished up one of its best arcs, and it's legitimately fantastic. Like it is some of the best.
It's magazines, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. It's no longer gonna. I think it's going seinen now.
It's a very bloody, and I could see why. I could see why.
Well, I'll tell you how I know this. I know this because somebody pointed out, like they said, Horikoshi just said a thing like Chainsaw Man is technically ending. You know, even though it's not, it's going to continue, but it's going to like continue in a different magazine with a technically different title. Yeah, Trigun did the same thing. It kind of happens a lot.
I mean, I guess it did end like its first season. Yeah.
So anyway, so Horikoshi did thing. Somebody pointed out. This is how I know. I remember that the entirety of Chainsaw Man came out in the hiatus between Hunter x Hunter chapters.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is quite sad.
Right. It's like, what's this guy up to? Like, what is he even doing? And it's like, it's not even like the Berserk guy. The Berserk guy does Love Live. Why, nobody actually knows, but it's
Nobody
like,
likes it. Everybody prefers Berserk, but he does Love Live.
yep. And it's like, but why though, bro? Why?
So I'm just looking through and seeing if there's any other new anime worth looking at. So there's a big kitted anime girl. Looks terrible. Yep, that's gonna be bad. Ignoring an idol show. Ignoring, no, don't care. Kiar is a healer who is used and tossed around by his fellow adventurers on the assumption that healers cannot fight on their own. However, when he achieves the ultimate healing magic and heals the world itself, going back 4 years to redo his life. Nope, boring. Ignore.
Yep. It's like even if you go back in time, you're still like gonna have the same kind of flaws. Like it's like whatever the issue is that it doesn't fix 4 years ago what you were doing. Like 4 years ago, I was still working at Convergys. It doesn't fix anything. Like it's Like it's just like, okay, maybe there's something, with some of the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year. You could avoid that, but it's like, yeah, but also shrug. Like it's already been done. We've already made our
Oh,
choices.
believe it or not, here is one of the very few isekai I am unironically actually been kind of looking out for. So I'm a spider, so what?
Oh, that does sound pretty awesome.
I, the protagonist, was just an ordinary high school girl, but suddenly I was reincarnated as a spider in a dungeon filled with vicious monsters, armed with only my human knowledge and my overwhelming positivity, forced to use spider webs and traps just to stay alive. So begins the labyrinth survival story of a girl with incredible blah 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 blah. So actually, that one I am unironically kind of looking forward to. I am I'm pretty basic. Holy crap! I'm gonna be watching two Isekai this season and Log Horizon and that. That's terrible. That's so bad.
Yeah, but Log Horizon's fine. You can't blame Log Horizon for your terrible taste.
No, I can't. Log Horizon is legitimately great taste. You have, if you like Log Horizon, you have great taste. So,
Yes.
however, if you like the Spider Show, you're trash. Just throwing that out there.
Yep. A preemptive declaration of trash.
Ooh, I like this one because this one doesn't even really give you the appeal of the show outside of is an isekai. The title is Jobless Reincarnation. 34-year-old underachiever is reincarnated as an infant and he gets the opportunity to live the life he always wanted with new friends, freshly acquired magical abilities, and the courage to do the things he's always dreamed of. He's embarking on an epic adventure with all his past experience intact. See, what I like about that description and about the show is that it's not even pretending anymore. It's called
Right.
Jobless Reincarnation. There is no appeal to the show except for the fact you are in a fantasy world and you get to do cool fantasy shit.
It's an
That
honest
is it.
isekai. It's the peak
Like,
isekai.
exactly. And it's even tagged neat. Kazuma would be jealous.
Yep.
Project Scarred, Raichor no Kaizu. After a rebellion in the Akatsuki Special Ward of Tokyo, the government collapses and citizens are left to fend for themselves. With divine tattoos that each possess unique powers, agents known as the Scars rise up to become the protectors of peace. Though loyal to three contending organizations, they'll have to face more than just criminals in order to serve their own definitions of justice. That's original work, but it looks terrible, so.
That is a. Yeah, it does. Like, I can see how it could be good, but it's like, ew.
I could see how it could be good, but I could see so many more ways it could be bad.
Yeah.
So, we're at 901, so in summary, shows to watch out for. There is the Chaz pick of Log Horizon, Beastars Season 2, Cells at Work Season 2, Cells at Work Code Black, Dr. Stone Season 2, Promise Neverland Season 2, and on the new show side, Skate the Infinity, the really long titled volleyball show that's going to be done by David Productions, and the only other isekai that I am even remotely interested in, So I'm a Spider, so what? Looks like it's going to be a pretty stacked season, honestly.
It does.
Just Log Horizon alone, it makes the season worth it, but Log Horizon and Dr. Stone and Promise Neverland and two Cells at Work shows
Yep.
and the Spider Show. Holy crap, this is probably the best season that we've had in like maybe a decade, just because all of the good shows were moved back to now.
Yep. Now, of course, after this season, let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like.
Ooh, that's true. Let's go,
Spring 2021, and Boku no Hero, Fumetsu no Anata A, which might be good, but probably won't be. Don't Tease Me Nagatoro for those who like the bullying types. Um,
Yeah, that's enough. But the new My Hero Academia is gonna be good. It's gonna be season 5 is My Villain Academia.
oh,
That's not gonna be till the second half of the season, but still, it's gonna
right,
be the season.
right. That's gonna feel good. Uh,
Shaman King. Oh yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. They're remaking Shaman King. That's one to keep an eye on.
Spring 2021 is actually Super Bear.
Well, they haven't announced a ton yet. It looks like.
Yeah.
So to be fair, but Tokyo Babylon 2021 looks like it might not be bad.
Yeah.
Shaman King, I'm looking forward to. Dyna Xenon looks like it could be good. That's another Studio Trigger show.
You see, I don't know. Like when they throw all those like letters in front of it, I'm like, what are you hiding? What's going on here? Why are you doing this?
Well, I understand that. Gridman was not bad. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. That looks awful. Ignore. Godzilla Singular Point. Holy shit. Studio Bones is doing a Godzilla show. Watching. That's on the list. Okay, actually, come to think of it, they haven't announced that many shows, and spring 2021, or, spring 2021 still looks kind of stacked.
Yeah.
Just what I'm seeing.
Just with all the stuff being shoved back.
I mean, holy shit, there's a Bones directed Godzilla show. There's My Hero Season 5. That Tokyo Babylon show doesn't look bad. A new Studio Trigger show, Shaman King. That's already 5 that I'm willing to take a look at. And they haven't even announced most of the shows that are coming out yet.
Yeah.
Ooh, hopefully this is going to be a very important year for anime, because there better be a lot of hits to make up for this shitty year of anime.
Yep.
It's going to be like, it's legitimately important for the industry that this is a good year for anime.
Yep. Yep. There's.
So Joe Exotic, the Tiger King star, has sued the Department of Justice to try and get a pardon.
Lol.
I'm sure that'll work.
I don't think so, but good on him for trying.
I'm only bringing this up because that just popped up on. I went to check my email and that was a news feed thing. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway.
I just defeated the boss. I'm trying to get. I don't know. I think there were some chats. Where is the exit?
Buster Shepard says he was a fan during the height of Bleach. It was kind of the constant Big 3 coverage that contributed to it. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Big 3 growing up. To be honest, One Piece wasn't even really part of the Big 3 where I live. It was really Dragon Ball, Naruto,
Yeah.
and Bleach. One Piece was barely on, to my recollection. And even then, I didn't really watch it.
Yeah. Like
You have to remember that I, unlike most people, got into shonen, not counting Pokemon, which admittedly is a big exception, but most of the shonen that I watched I got into when I was older.
Yeah.
What that says about me, I don't
exit?
know.
There's gotta be an exit. Oh, whatever. Alright, guys. Thank you for joining us as always. Pleasure. Have a good night and good luck, Mega Buster, with your doctor's appointment.